This morning on our Greetings from the Garden State segment with Mike Ham, we're talking soccer and specifically Red Bull soccer. Mike, what do you have for us?
That's right, Jim. We've actually talked more soccer, I feel like, on this morning segment. Even though you and I are both baseball guys, I feel like we've talked more about soccer than baseball at all. Like, we really haven't done anything baseball. But we had a chance to visit the Red Bulls training facility over in East Hanover, which is a really unbelievable facility. It's just like a whole compound of stuff. And then they told me while I was there that they're actually moving, I think, next season to a better facility closer to Morristown. But I got a chance to sit down with Peter Stroud and Daniel Edelman, two players from Jersey that are playing on the Red Bulls right now. Just kind of talk about like the team, their careers, their lives, both being Jersey kids, and all that. And it was fun. It was an interesting conversation, and I had a good time chatting it up with them.
I know it's a little bit of an up and down season for the Red Bulls, and they're in danger right now as we record this. They're in danger of not making the playoffs, and I think that's the first time in 15 years. And boy, any major sports franchise team here in the New York, New Jersey area would sign on the dotted line right now for that, 15 years of playoffs.
Seriously, all these great organizations that we have that haven't made playoffs or made a playoff or won a playoff game in so long. But yeah, honestly, so admittedly, I don't really follow a lot of MLS, and by not follow a lot of MLS, I don't follow MLS at all. But I will say that I have friends that do, specifically like a couple guys that do some stuff with us, on another project. But we were talking about the Red Bulls and just kind of like what the Red Bulls are. Like they're always just kind of like in the hunt. Like they're maybe never like a team that's gonna, just blow through the regular season at the top of the heap. Last year they make a MLS Finals, which was a huge run for them to get there. I mean, ultimately they lost, but for them to get to that point was a special season for them for sure. But I mean, they just talked about like how they know that they have it in the tank and they know that it's a possibility, and you just got to get in, and once you get in, anything can happen. So that's what they're trying to make happen right now.
One of the things that I do know about the Red Bulls is they are really very, very closely tied in with their community, which is such an important thing for any sports franchise.
Yeah, honestly, like I mean, I think you take a team like that plays soccer, plays in Harrison, all that the communities that surround there are, generally soccer fans, and I think that, between the Devils, the Red Bulls, the Gotham FC, who we talked about a few weeks ago, to have all those teams there and like have them so involved in the community, I think is a really special thing because, I'm sure every major professional sports team does community outreach and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what it is. Like, and maybe you have an idea, but like even with the Devils, I mean, they're like a big four major sports team that feels just like super embedded in the fabric of Newark, and the Red Bulls and Gotham and what they do with the soccer on the soccer side in Harrison and even the surrounding areas like Newark and all around there. It just you get that same sense. And I don't know quite what that is, and maybe it's just because we're so close to it and we just see it every day and we kind of have that vibe. But I think it's like a really cool thing to see because that's ultimately what it's all about. And that's what the show is built on is community and community driven stuff and what they're able to do. And I mean, any soccer event that I've gone to over the last few months, which has actually been more than I ever thought that I would go to, after stopping playing soccer at 8. The Red Bulls have been there. The mascot's been there. They're doing giveaways. They're doing outreach stuff. They're doing stuff with their season ticket holders. Just like local stuff, youth soccer, everything. It's really impressive to see.
I think, and you mentioned the Devils, and I think with the two teams being so close to each other, basically across the river from one another, I think some of it, with regard to what they do inside the community and the way the community has bonded with them, is the urban feel of it. There's a difference from, and I've lived in both suburbs and urban,
Yeah,
there's just a different feel inside a city. I can't explain it. For me, when I think of a city, it's really a bunch of small neighborhoods
yeah,
altogether. I think
yep,
of where I was born in Queens. I think where I lived in the Bronx, and they're all just like separate little towns, but there's an identity to it.
yeah.
We're the Bronx, we're Newark, we're Harrison, we're Jersey City. It's that whole NYC, NJ area that just kind of ties together, and you just have this sense of community pride. And I think both the Devils and the Red Bulls that we're talking about have really been able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, like you want that. I mean, the Devils in Jersey are still relatively new. They've only been here for like what, 40 something years, like not a very long time when you look at some of the established franchises in this town, like a Yankees, Mets, even the Mets are somewhat young too, but Giants, Rangers, stuff like that. But
Hmm.
then you look at the Red Bulls, obviously like the Cosmos at the beginning and then, turning into the Red Bulls and all that kind of stuff. And I think like it just taking that momentum and like the community outreach is really important to kind of get those younger fans involved so that now you start to have generations of fans and that they start taking their kids to games or matches or whatever. So yeah, to me, it's a really great point. It's just like everyone being so close to each other and then those teams doing such a good job on the outreach side to the community and making themselves feel embedded in that community. I think that's got to be it.
One of the other things that I know the Red Bulls do is they have their academy program, which is youth teams. And in fact, a close friend of mine, her son is on, I think it's the 17U team. And they've done just such a great job of developing players. And you have, you mentioned the two players that you talked to, both from here in New Jersey.
Yep. Yeah, honestly, the developmental program in soccer fascinates me. I think it is one of the most interesting things, like, teams putting together these schools and almost having like a pipeline of players from the age of like, I mean, I said I stopped playing at 8. That's probably why, because I didn't, get into one of those things, but because I was like short and fat and really slow, and now I'm just fat and slow and
Hey, but
but
at least you're taller.
yeah, I'm taller than I was when I was 8. Not that tall though. But yeah, I mean, I think like they were talking about all the stuff that they've done and different, like pipeline things that different teams have and academies and all that. And to me, it's like it's really interesting because I know that, I remember like going to travel ball stuff and seeing like the Marlins, whatever team, and like that's all cool and stuff. But I don't know. I just think that the soccer thing is just like a different animal, and it's like a very regimented thing. So they told me. I mean, I think Peter was 23. I think Daniel is like 23 or 24, maybe even 22. And they both said, like, really from at a certain point, like a very early age, for the most part, if you have what it takes to play at that level. Most of them don't go to college because that's not part of the trajectory of a player. And, it is what it is. But I think that it is really interesting, like the way that they are able to develop kids from a very young age and get them to where they need to be to actually play at a professional level like that.
Before we wrap up this morning, as we've been talking the past few weeks, Mike and his fiance have been fostering Yogi. So I need a Yogi update. How
All
is
right,
Yogi doing?
so Yogi update. He
I guess he's right at your feet.
But so he actually found a home. So it is our home.
I was
Uh,
figuring that was going to happen.
Yogi, come here. Nah, he's sleeping. But yeah, we pulled the trigger yesterday. And I mean, listen, he's been here for almost 6 weeks, and we he had I think like one application in. Duck, our dog, has grown really fond of him, even though he still steals all our stuff. And he's just I don't know, he's just a really good dog, and we thought why kind of just like belay this process and like of not get him get into our vet system, get him into all that kind of stuff, and you just make him feel part of the like part of the family because he
Hmm.
is really at this point. I mean, you're a dog guy, like it's pretty quick that it happens that they just kind of get ingrained in your lifestyle. So we're a two dog household now. So we got Duck and we got Yogi, and we're happy. So
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I kind of
yeah,
figured it was going to happen, to
all
be
the
honest with you.
naysayers were correct.
Well,
You and
listen,
everybody else that said you're gonna adopt this dog, and I was like, no, 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 and here we are. But again, I'm not sad about it at all. I mean, like, I am excited. He's excited. We're all excited to have him here.
well, congratulations to you and to
Thank you.
Yogi as well. And you can
Thanks,
check
buddy.
it all out at greetingsfromthegardenstate.com. Thanks, Mike. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Jim.